Have you ever met someone with whom you felt an inexplicable familiarity, a recognition that goes beyond the rational? Your eyes met, and it was as if time stood still. Your heart pounded wildly, as if you had finally found a part of yourself you didn't even know was missing. But there is a problem. She is married. Or he has started a family. And now you're asking yourself, how can the universe be so cruel? Why does it awaken in you the certainty that you've found your twin flame precisely at the moment when they are not free? Are you just imagining it all, or is there a deeper meaning behind this seemingly impossible situation?
Carl Jung had an answer to all this, and perhaps it is the most transformative one you will ever hear about soul connections. In this video, you will learn why your twin flame might be with someone else in this lifetime. And more importantly, what is the true spiritual meaning behind this encounter that seems doomed to fail? Prepare yourself, because what I'm about to reveal can fundamentally change your view on love, destiny, and spiritual growth. And if you stay until the end, you'll understand why this situation, as painful as it is, might be exactly what your soul needs most to grow. Before we dive into the complexity of a committed twin flame, we need to understand what this concept truly means from Carl Jung's perspective. The internet is full of romanticized ideas about twin flames that confuse more than clarify. Although Jung didn't use the term twin flame, his research on synchronicity, individuation, and the collective unconscious offers the most solid psychological foundation for understanding these extraordinary connections. For Jung, certain people don't appear in our lives by chance. They emerge as part of an archetypal process of psychological wholeness. The twin flame, from Jung's point of view, is the embodiment of your inner projection, your anima or animus, the inner opposite gender aspect that exists in each of us. That's why the recognition is so immediate and overwhelming. You don't just fall in love with a person, you recognize an essential part of yourself in the other. But here comes the crucial point many overlook. Twin flames don't necessarily come into our lives to form a normal relationship. They come to trigger profound transformations, awaken hidden aspects of the psyche, and accelerate individuation, the path to becoming our true self. Jung observed that the most transformative connections in our lives often come with seemingly insurmountable obstacles. It's as if the universe deliberately places blocks to force us into growth steps that would never be possible in comfortable situations. If your twin flame is married or committed, it's not a cosmic mistake. It's a precise plan for a specific form of spiritual development. You are not only called to love, but to transcend the boundaries of possessive love and discover higher forms of human connection. The pain you feel is not a sign that something is wrong. It is proof that something absolutely right is happening on a deeper level, even if your conscious mind can't fully grasp it yet. If you're wondering why the universe allows you to meet your twin flame in an impossible situation, Jung had a revolutionary perspective. He believed that the psyche possesses its own intelligence and orchestrates encounters to teach us lessons we couldn't learn any other way. Think of the spiritual alchemy that Carl Jung intensely studied. The goal of the alchemical process wasn't simply to create gold. It required that substances be exposed to extreme fire, pressure, and painful transformations so that something truly valuable could emerge. The encounter with an unattainable twin flame is exactly that alchemical process. The apparent cruelty serves a specific purpose. First, it destroys your illusions about how love should work. It forces you to ask whether you truly understand what unconditional love means. Second, it prevents you from hiding in a comfortable relationship zone and pushes you into unknown terrain of personal growth. Jung observed that the most profound psychological transformations happen when we are forced to endure irreconcilable paradoxes. Love for a married twin flame is one of these paradoxes. You love sincerely, but you cannot possess. You feel deeply connected, but must keep your distance. You recognize your destiny, but must accept divine timing. This tension between desire and impossibility creates what Jung called the transcendent function, the psychological ability to hold opposites until a third option emerges. And in the case of twin flames, this third option is often a form of love that transcends ego and societal expectations. The universe is not cruel, bitter. It is precise, like a surgeon. This situation is designed to heal parts of you that could not heal under normal circumstances. Maybe you are meant to learn to love without possessing, or to find fulfillment within yourself without external validation, or to develop deep trust in divine timing, even when your mind screams for control. The twin flame is neither an innocent victim nor an annoying obstacle. They are part of the same spiritual plan. All those involved in this dynamic have specific lessons to learn, soul contracts to fulfill, and growth to experience. Even if your twin flame is with someone else, the connection between you cannot be completely hidden. There are specific signs that Jung would interpret as proof of genuine soul synchronization. But beware, it is important to distinguish between a true connection and an idealized projection. The first sign is what Jung would describe as typical recognition. When you meet, there is a familiarity that defies all logic. It's not just physical attraction or mental alignment, it's as if you've known each other forever. She says something, and you finish the sentence. Or you experience synchronized events, the same dream on the same night, or the thought of the other at the exact moment a message appears. The second sign is the mutual ability to see behind social masks, directly into the essence of the other. Jung called this seeing the person behind the persona. In a brief moment, you recognize aspects of each other that usually remain hidden. It's as if psychological defense mechanisms dissolve automatically. Another central indication is the catalytic effect you have on each other. After the encounter with your twin flame, even if they are committed, you likely experienced profound changes in your life. Maybe you questioned old beliefs, embarked on a spiritual path, or finally made long-postponed decisions. Their mere presence in your life, even from a distance, acts as a catalyst for your development. There is also the phenomenon of silent energetic communication. You feel the other person's emotional state without physical contact. You simply know when she is suffering, or she reaches out just when you most need a sign. But here is one sign that many overlook. There is mutual respect for existing commitments. If she truly is your twin flame, and you are spiritually connected, there will be a silent agreement that your mutual growth is more important than the immediate gratification of desire. She will not break her commitment lightly, and you will not apply pressure to make it happen. The true connection is also reflected in what Jung called controlled inflation. You feel inspired and uplifted by the connection, but you don't lose touch with reality. There is a transcendent quality to the interaction. Encounters that connect you more deeply with the divine, with meaning, and with life in general are profound. Jung was deeply convinced that there are no random encounters, especially not those that trigger deep transformations within us. The meeting with your married twin flame has a very specific spiritual purpose that goes far beyond romantic ideas. The first purpose is what Jung called accelerated individuation. The emotional tension caused by this situation forces you to develop parts of your personality that would remain untouched under normal circumstances. You learn to deal with unconditional love, conscious detachment, trust without guarantees, and divine patience, all fundamental qualities on the path to spiritual maturity. The second purpose is the healing of karmic patterns related to possessive love. Many souls enter this life with unconscious memories of past relationships in which love turned into control, jealousy, or emotional dependency. Loving your twin flame from a distance and respecting her commitments is a way to cleanse those old dynamics and learn new, more mature forms of relationship. Another purpose is the development of what Jung called conscious love. Most relationships run on autopilot, driven by unconscious needs, projections, and family repetition patterns. When you love someone you cannot have, you are forced to consciously question every emotion, every motivation, every impulse. From this arises a form of love that is clearer, purer, and less neurotic. This encounter also serves to activate your spiritual readiness to serve. When you experience such a deep, transformative love, even if it is one-sided, you develop a new understanding of human connection. Many people who go through such experiences become counselors, therapists, or wiser friends. Jung recognized that certain soul wounds prepare us for greater spiritual tasks. Maybe this experience is preparing you for a future role that requires deep understanding of love, compassion, and soul growth. Another spiritual purpose is the awakening of your connection to the divine. When human love reaches its limits, when you love deeply but cannot possess, you are naturally drawn to higher sources of meaning and fulfillment. Many people find their true spirituality through such impossible love experiences. Finally, the purpose is to exemplify another form of love, one that exists without possession, that respects the autonomy of the other, and that finds joy in the happiness of the other, even when you are not part of it. This is a rare form of emotional maturity that can deeply touch and inspire others. The emotional reality of loving a married twin flame is like a daily spiritual roller coaster. Jung knew that such intense psychological states require specific coping strategies to avoid becoming destructive. The first strategy is what Jung called conscious acceptance of the paradox. Instead of fighting reality, you should fully accept it. Yes, you have found your twin flame. Yes, she is married. Both truths can exist at once without cancelling each other out. Mental resistance only intensifies your suffering. The second principle is to distinguish between feeling and action. Jung emphasized how important it is to fully allow our feelings without necessarily acting on them. You are allowed to feel longing, passion, pain, hope. All of it is valid and deserves space. But that doesn't mean you have to act to change your situation. One powerful technique is what Jung called dialogue with the unconscious. Write letters to your twin flame without ever sending them. Let all your emotions flow out unfiltered. Then write responses as if you were her. Try to channel her perspective. This process helps you integrate the situation internally and develop a more mature view of the dynamic. Jung would also recommend working with dreams during this phase. People in twin flame situations often have deeply meaningful dreams that offer clues on how to deal with the situation. Keep a dream journal and pay special attention to dreams in which your twin flame appears, or symbolic images related to her. Equally important is developing what Jung called emotional continence, the ability to neither suppress nor act out intense feelings uncontrollably. This means creating rituals to process emotions in healthy ways through meditation, physical activity, creative expression, or time in nature. Your emotional energy needs constructive outlets. Another essential strategy is to maintain healthy social bonds. The temptation to isolate yourself, escape into fantasies, or dramatize the situation is strong. Jung always emphasized the importance of staying in contact with others. Relationships with friends and family help maintain perspective and connection to shared reality. Also practice what Jung called conscious presence. Instead of getting lost in romantic thought loops or overanalyzing every gesture, stay in the moment. Simply enjoy the presence of this special energy without needing to turn it into something it yet is not. Finally, develop a spiritual practice that connects you to something greater than this specific situation, whether it be meditation, prayer, philosophical study, or social service. Any action that reminds you you are part of something far beyond your personal drama will give you inner stability. Jung recognized that the greatest opportunities for psychological growth are often disguised as the most painful emotional experiences. Loving a married twin flame is such a disguised opportunity, a call to develop spiritual qualities that are rare in our world. The first necessary step is the development of detached love. Most people confuse love with possession, passion with neediness, connection with dependency. In this experience, you are forced to purify your understanding of love. You learn to truly love and to wish for the other person's happiness, even if it doesn't include you. This is not resignation, but a higher form of love. The second developmental step is patience with divine timing, the ability to trust the universe even when its timing contradicts your personal desires. Jung was convinced some lessons can only be learned through conscious waiting. You understand that not everything can be forced or controlled, even if your desire is burning. It's also about emotional integrity. In a situation where it would be easy to justify questionable behavior, seducing someone, creating drama, manipulating, you are called to remain true to your highest values. This strengthens your character in a way few other experiences could. Jung also emphasized the development of the transcendent function, the ability to endure psychic tension without prematurely resolving it. In this experience, you learn to live with ambivalence, uncertainty, and paradox. This ability represents a psychological maturity that will serve you in all areas of life. Another crucial step is the ability to find meaning in suffering. Jung believed that conscious, accepted, and integrated suffering is transformative. You learn that not every pain needs to be eliminated immediately, and that some pains carry spiritual gifts that only reveal themselves through full experience. Eventually, a universal force of compassion grows within you. When you go through such an experience, you deeply understand the complexity of human relationships. You stop judging people caught in love triangles, making seemingly wrong decisions, or living in complicated situations. This expanded compassion is a gift that heals not only you, but others as well. The growth of emotional self-sufficiency is another central aspect of this experience. You learn that your happiness does not depend on external circumstances. Even though you deeply love your twin flame, you must find an inner source of fulfillment and meaning that exists independently of your relationship status. Ultimately, there is the growth of spiritual trust, the conviction that a higher intelligence is at work in your life, even if you don't fully understand the plan. This trust is not naive hope, but wisdom matured through experience, born of synchronicities and meanings beyond ordinary logic. But the question that many cannot let go of is there a real possibility of union with a married twin flame? Jung would say, this is the wrong question. The real question is not when or how, but will you be ready to accept any possibility the universe reveals to you? Jung's first principle regarding divine timing is, it never follows the human calendar. If a union is meant to be, it will happen, but only when both souls are ready to carry the connection on a spiritually mature level. That might take months, years, decades, or not happen at all in this lifetime, and all these possibilities are equally valid from a spiritual perspective. Jung made it clear. Synchronicities cannot be forced. They arise only when personal maturity aligns with the universal flow. Regarding twin flames, this means true union is only possible if both have sufficiently completed the process of individuation, the journey toward inner wholeness. If she is married, there is a lesson in that for her. Perhaps it's about commitment, honoring soul contracts or aspects of her personality that can only mature within that relationship. To interfere in that process would be like picking a fruit too early from the tree. It would not be sweet, not ready. Your task in the meantime is clear. Focus fully on your own growth. Jung emphasized, you can only attract what resonates with you energetically. If you desire a mature spiritual connection, you must become someone capable of sustaining such a connection. That means heal your own relationship patterns. Develop your talents, your calling, your contribution to the world. Learn to be happy on your own. Find your purpose beyond romantic validation. Cultivate patience, compassion, wisdom, and trust, not as an ideal, but as lived reality. This spiritual awakening will stay with you forever. You now have access to a new depth of intuition, sensitivity, and soul understanding. This transformation often includes a deeper connection to your life purpose. Many report that after meeting their twin flame, even if unavailable, they suddenly gained clarity about their life's meaning, their vocation, and their unique contribution to the world. It's as if the experience opened inner doors that were previously closed. This journey resembles a spiritual initiation. You've passed through an emotional trial by fire, and emerged with expanded abilities. From this arises a sense of spiritual responsibility, the feeling that you have something unique to share, born from deep experience. But perhaps the most important transformation is this. You develop the ability to recognize and honor sacred connections wherever they appear. You will no longer pass carelessly by meaningful encounters, synchronicities, or growth opportunities disguised as difficulties. This experience has shown you true love is greater than any external situation, stronger than any obstacle, and more enduring than any physical relationship. This knowledge is not theoretical, you have felt it in your own heart, and that forever changes how you see yourself, others, and life itself. If you've read this far, then you already understand that the meeting with your married twin flame was not a cruel accident of fate. It was an invitation to a form of spiritual development that few people have the courage or the opportunity to truly experience. Carl Jung dedicated his life to understanding how the psyche works through paradoxes and seeming impossibilities. And often the events we most resist are the ones we most need for our inner growth. The situation you are in is not a mistake to be corrected, but a mystery to be accepted. Your twin flame may be married in this life because you both need to learn lessons that are only possible in this exact configuration. She may be learning about commitment, about honoring promises, about developing inner aspects that can only emerge within her current relationship. You, on the other hand, are learning unconditional love, divine patience, and trust without guarantees. The universe wastes no experience. Every pain you have felt, every night full of doubts, every day you chose to love without possessing, all of this has nurtured qualities within you that will strengthen you forever. You will become someone capable of loving more purely, freely, and transcendentally. Maybe physical union will happen one day, maybe not. But the spiritual connection already exists. It is permanent, indestructible by external circumstances. This connection transcends time, space, and this single lifetime. What matters is not whether you will be together with your twin flame, but who you become through this experience. The person you mature into is wiser, more compassionate, and spiritually evolved. A person worthy of receiving every form of love that life wants to give. Jung reminded us the purpose of life is not happiness, but meaning, and the meaning you draw from this seemingly impossible experience is an inner treasure that no one can take away. You have learned to love beyond the ego, and that is an extraordinary spiritual achievement. Trust the process, honor the connection, respect divine timing, and continue growing into the person this experience calls you to be. For maybe this is the true union your soul has always sought, not with another person, but with your higher self. There are encounters that are unplanned, unsearched, yet they enter your life like a sudden gust of wind and open windows you didn't even know were locked. And suddenly, there is someone, without warning, without expectation, just a glance that shakes you to your core, a presence that feels as if it has always been there. It is no stranger, but not an acquaintance either. It is like a mirror, showing not your exterior, but your deepest fragments, your light and your shadow, your open wounds and forgotten dreams. Sometimes such an encounter has a name, twin flame. But what follows is not a conventional love story. No background music, no eternal vows. What follows is a tremor, a crack in the emotional structure you have built over years. This person does not come to complete you, but to shake everything you believed about yourself, to force you to face your true being. What appears as love at first sight is sometimes nothing but the soul recognizing a vibration from another life, another level. You don't know if you are imagining it or if it is real, but you feel it. And once you have felt it, you will never feel the same way for someone else again. The great tension begins when this person is not available, when they have their own life, a partner, a family. Then the soul screams, but the mind holds it back. The heart burns, but the feet remain still. And what could have been the most beautiful turns into silent torment, into longing without a goal, into waiting without a clock. Many experience this secretly with guilt and shame because they believe feeling is wrong. But Carl Jung showed us another possibility, that there is love which does not come to be fulfilled, but to transform us, that there are encounters that do not stay but awaken. Maybe this person did not come to demand your heart, but to show you that you have one. Maybe they did not come to take it, but so you recognize it yourself. Maybe they did not come to live a relationship with you, but to show you that true love needs no fulfillment to be real. For sometimes the greatest greatness of love lies not in being together, but in its impossibility, in its silence, in its devotion without claim. The ego wants to possess, but the soul wants to expand. And precisely in this abyss, between what you desire and what you cannot have, the deepest spiritual growth unfolds. There you are called to love without demanding, to feel without expecting, to surrender without guarantees. The twin flame in its purest form is not a person who saves you. It is an experience that disarms you, a lesson you did not ask for, but needed. It shows you everything you suppress, everything you postpone, everything that is not yet healed. It confronts you with yourself, with your fears, your dependencies, your illusions. It gives you no answers. It gives you questions. And in this inner chaos, a sacred process begins. You begin to remember who you really are beyond your roles, masks, and old stories. You clarify your intentions, purify your way of loving, and stop confusing love with desire, connection with need, devotion with sacrifice. Nothing is more radical than to love without possessing. Nothing transforms you more than wanting the happiness of another, even if it does not include you. Then the flame no longer burns outwardly, but illuminates you from within. You feel its absence as a quiet, enduring presence. Every moment carries traces, a glance, a word, a feeling that cannot be named. But instead of suppressing this feeling, you accept it, you observe it, you turn it into a spiritual practice, and someday something happens. You no longer need their love to feel your own. You stop searching for messages in every sign. You begin to understand that true connection happens not in the body, but in the frequency. Maybe this person will never be your partner. Maybe you will never share a home or a life, but you shared something deeper, a moment of truth, a moment in which you recognized each other, without words, without conditions, and that is enough. For it brought you back to yourself. It awakened a sleeping version of you. It reminded you what is possible within you. Sometimes the soul needs nothing more than a mirror that shows its highest possibility. And as life goes on, you go on, with this flame in your chest. Not to seek, but to be. Not to conquer, but to understand. You know you are not alone. You know this connection transcends time, space, and circumstances. You know something in you has changed forever. That this impossible love was actually the most direct door to your soul. That this pain was the wisest teacher. That this separation was the path on which life told you something greater awaits in you. Not all will understand what you have experienced. Some call it obsession, others illusion. But you know better. You know what moved within you. You know it was no accident, and so you hold no grudges. You ask for no explanations. You do not cling. You give thanks. You honor. You move on. With a softer heart, a clearer mind, and a livelier soul.